Hey Gabe,
Hiya.
so thank you so much for joining us for a little bit at Emmanuel. I deeply appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. What a great place.
It is a great place. It's a great place, and I really like this place, our garden. It's really for two reasons. One, I get to come out here and be with friends that are no longer with us, and two, just to be in God's glory is fantastic. However,
After being in New York for as long as I was, it's a nice change of pace.
well, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, if you were to just to look at us, physically we're different, right? You grow a beard and I'm follicularly challenged.
Yeah.
But for the most part, two middle-aged, middle-class dudes, both wearing collars. What? Who are you? Where do you? What's the deal with Gabe?
Gosh, some of you will learn that I don't have short stories, but I'm going to do my best. Probably a couple things make me unique. Several things. I was born to Cuban parents in Puerto Rico, parents who left Cuba in the mid-60s. And then we came to the mainland in the mid-70s, kind of 76, 77. And I was educated entirely in English, but I still speak Spanish because my mother never quite got English. So until she passed away about 20 years ago, she helped me keep Spanish. And then I have been in the Episcopal Church. I don't know if longer or shorter than you, but I officially became Episcopalian in 2003.
You were Roman before that, or?
Yes, Roman. I grew up Roman, with some time away, but I grew up Roman Catholic. So that's that. And then I was ordained. I went into the process and was ordained in 2010. And I've been serving churches in Portland, Oregon, and in New York since then. But North Carolina is home for me for lots of reasons, which, again, that's one of those long stories. So I'm glad to be home again. We just moved down from New York in April.
So, one thing I know about you, and what's reminding me of it, is that I'm hearing the artillery at Bragg, is you grew up a military dependent.
I did for I think about 6 years, 8 years. It's a complicated story, but my older brother was my guardian when I was growing up for part of the time, and he was Special Forces in the 80s. And so we were stationed at Fort Bragg for a couple of years, and also in what used to be the Southern Command in Panama. We were on the Atlantic side of Panama for 4 years in the 80s. Which was a remarkable experience. That was most of high school for me. And then I graduated from high school in Fayetteville because we were back here at Bragg.
So you started in a DoD high school in Panama and finished on Bragg, or at a...
No, we lived off base my senior year. So I went to Westover Senior High in what used to be Westover Senior High in Fayetteville.
Cool.
Yeah. So I have lots of memories of being in a military family and what that was like. So it seems very familiar to me.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to jump back. Did you ever pursue ordination as a Roman?
I didn't. I did not. By the time when I first felt called to the priesthood, I was 14, and I thought it was to the Roman priesthood. But by the time I hit college, I realized that the Roman priesthood was not somewhere I wanted to hang out. And so I laid that aside for a while. I ended up going to Union Seminary right out of college to work on a master's degree that I didn't end up finishing, but I became sort of kind of high church Protestant, I would say. And that's where I remained until I made my commitments and joined the Episcopal Church.
Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. I know we're going to learn more about each other going forward, and I really deeply appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here, and I hope I have a chance to meet more folks than we have in these bizarre circumstances, and be able to tell some of my long stories and hear some of yours.
Thank you so much.